I'm Goon, and today I'm joined by, as always, Crush. And today we also have Bahamut. Go ahead and wave Bahamut for everybody. And then we got Justin as well. Bahamut, CCL caster extraordinaire, streamer, Justin, analyst, pro gamer, and just overall a huge brain human being. And Crush, good human as well. Frosty is out. He's doing some more family stuff, and he's got some cool stuff lined up for him in his personal life. So hopefully all that goes well and he's safe out there. But welcome everybody. Appreciate you being here. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. CCL stuff, obviously, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the amateur things that are happening. We're going to talk about the future of competitive HOTS, how we can improve or evolve the future of competitive HOTS, and then I guess maybe we'll dabble into some Microsoft, blah, 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 whatever. We all read Twitter, but before we get into all that, what's up, everybody?
Not much. Great. How you doing?
I'm good. Real quick, Bah, for those of you that may not, for those out there that may not know who Bahamut is for whatever reason, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I started casting, years ago, and just became a passion of mine, and eventually between working an engineering job and doing that, I left the engineering job and started doing casting and streaming full-time. So, yeah, I full-time stream and talk about Heroes of Storm as much as I possibly can and annoy people with it.
Right on. You said annoy people with it. What do you mean by that? What's up with that?
Oh, like people try and ask me all the time. They're like, so like you talk about video games for a living, and I'm like, yeah, like you go to a hockey game and you listen to a commentator, and they're like, yeah, I was like, I do that, and they're like, oh, okay, and then they're like, explain it to me, and I'm like, oh, you didn't want that, and then you can just see their eyes glaze over. Like I try and go through it really quickly. I try to be like, it's 5 players versus 5 players on a different map, and there's different objectives and there's different heroes, and the maps go for like 20 to 30 minutes or so, and there's a draft that you can kind of counter each other in. And I get into like, I say the word map and I just see eyes glaze over, and I'm like, you don't give a shit. Like I could start just talking about like, yeah, and then you get on the Pegasus, you play 3 cards. If you get an island, then you can summon. You can summon Draken Ropa or something like that. Just like make up random shit, like, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, yeah.
Nice.
So I know people with it.
Right on. Cool. Justin, what's up, man?
Yo.
You've had a fantastic breakout season this season. Tell the people a little bit about your history, your background.
Yeah, so I've been playing HOTS pretty much since the beginning. Made an amateur team in 2015 and then went to BlizzCon in 2017. And yeah, I just played a lot of HOTS, and now I'm the analyst for the CCL. So me and Baha get to hang out on broadcast, and I take a bunch of notes on all the games and talk about why the teams won, what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been fun.
What how's that experience been like for you? I mean, transitioning from being a sweaty neckbeard into, a more intellectual neckbeard. How's that journey been for you? How do you feel about that?
It's definitely been good. I think the beginning of the season I was just always super nervous with like just being on camera, and that's probably the main thing that I've gotten better at. And I was also doing a lot of coaching beforehand, so at the very start I was just like, all my notes were just on everyone's mistakes because I was just in coach mode. And then I've also since then I've gotten better at kind of like looking at why teams were winning as opposed to why teams were losing, and that was kind of weird to get like transition from that. And the main thing is probably just getting in the mode of talking properly, not talking in gamer terms all the time. Like when you're gaming, you're usually using like very short, concise little words, like 1 or 2 words to convey information as quickly and as like easily as possible. But when you're doing the analyst stuff or casting, you need to like be more descriptive and kind of, you can't crutch on the same type of like call outs that you do in gaming, so like the language is a lot different.
Nice. How did you get into that? Tell the people how you found your way into being an analyst?
So I found that the opportunity existed. Uh, Shoutouts to Goon for helping me find that opportunity. Thank you, Goon. So that was sick, and yeah, I did my tryout. I analyzed some Oxygen Abathur comps, and the
Which is
rest
pretty
is history,
easy.
I guess.
Which is pretty easy. You just say this is bad, and then they're like, "Yeah, cool, great, sick."
Oh no,
I'll check
I
March.
loved it. It was sick. It was a sick play they made.
Yeah, I just wanted to toot my own horn there. Hey, orgs are cool sometimes. We can do stuff.
Yeah, shoutouts to Goon for hooking me up.
Right on, right on.
Here you go, Goon. Oh, Google Images. I was gonna give you the Obama giving Obama a medal. I was trying to send that just to try
Hey,
and
I'm
find
gonna
you in our
take
Discord
it.
chat.
I'm gonna take it. We take this. No. I mean, it was. I can't really remember exactly how the conversation went, and I was just like, hey, I might have a couple guys that might be interested in this because the game is in a different place, and they aren't having fun with it in this way they were before. This might be interesting. Try it out. I threw some names in there, and yeah, the rest is history. But no, it's been good. Yeah, go ahead.
What's funny is Jules and I were literally talking about this today. We were talking about we're at the end of CCL season 3. Like it's kind of crazy. And I was like, yeah, when free agent stuff happens and the first weekend of broadcast, we're like, wow, we got 10 to 15 weeks of this stuff, and it's like we're already at the end. And she was like, yeah, I remember getting a message saying yeah, I think Justin might be interested to do an analyst role, and we were all kind of like, really, this isn't a joke, is it? we were actually kind of blown away that this was the direction. And honest to God, I told Jules earlier, and I'll say it here. I think this broadcast team has been the best broadcast team CCL's ever had. It has been way too much fun with Justin, Grubby, and well, I can't really say about myself. I guess I do all right, but still, working with them, it's just such an easy flow. You don't have we don't have to rally each other in between take or breaks and stuff like that. It's the break goes on, we all kind of take a break, and then Joseph counts us back in, and we're back on. It's not like we miss a step. It's just everyone knows what to do. It was what Bad Benny said in the winning interview with 30K. He's my teammates just know what to do. I don't have to sit there and micro my teammates. If I do this, I can know that Hazuabs or whoever's is going to be landing an arrow or following up on my Diablo play. So it's just that's one of the best things about the broadcasting we have for season 3 is just everyone jives so super well.
Scaling.
Hard scaling, seriously.
You're definitely smurfing too, though, Baha, because you made it so easy for me to just jump in, because I was kind of worried I was gonna be a little bit lost, but you definitely direct the show quite well.
And it's crazy because I always make the joke that it's just I'm constantly steering the bus off the cliff, and it's Joseph just getting me back on track. But even then, it's a team effort. It's a good time. It's a good crew of people. I wouldn't want to do a show with anyone else, really.
Nice. Crush, you got any questions, man? What's quiet over there?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's just great to be here with both of you. I didn't get to catch ITN earlier. I don't know if you answered this earlier, Justin, but the main thing I was wondering was if there was anything about the job that you were kind of pleasantly surprised about, you're expecting it to be one way, it went a different way when it came to working on a production of this size.
I would just say everyone at Wisdom has been super nice, and I thought it would be a little bit more serious than it is. Not that they don't get the job done, because obviously they do, but behind the scenes everyone's really laid back. They don't mind if Springy comes up in the middle of the broadcast and is just clinging to me. They love that, and the chat goes crazy for Springy, which I think is the cutest thing ever. But yeah, everyone's just been really cool and just easy to work with.
Nice. Right on. And then I guess the question for both of you here is, how the hell do you guys look so good? You guys look good on camera all the time. I don't understand it. How do you do it?
Oh, it's this revolutionary thing. A lot of gamers don't know about it. It's called showering.
Oh, I felt that one.
So, wash your face. For me at least, it's just for CCL and stuff, like I have a regiment like before CCL and everything, like even the night before, like it's like Friday night, it's like do stats, have some tea, like sit with Bandit, review stats, and then the morning it's like get up, shower, walk Bandit, cook breakfast, and then sit and review stats and like literally just watch YouTube videos and like chat with Justin and stuff until the broadcast starts. Like it's just showering. It's just showering. Yeah.
I think it's also it helps. I got my camera upgraded, which is thanks to Baja. So that's why you can see all my hair follicles, and now you can actually tell if I showered. So I have to make an added effort
It's
to make sure I
accountability.
do that.
We had to get the
accountability.
thirst in 1080-60, okay? Like, it was enough of this, the 720, 1080-30, whatever. Like, no, we had to get full thirst for the chat, so
Gosh,
glad I
this
could help.
was ages ago, but I don't know if you remember when TV finally switched over to HD.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you saw a lot of news anchors that were not transitioning over well to the HD television market.
Oh, damn.
You're just like, oh no, what happened?
They had
I was
start hiring
going
HD
back.
humans.
I was going back and like watching, like I was hanging out with some friends and we were just like threw on like a bunch of like old like music videos that like we were like, oh, like remember like this from like Total Request Live, and I was like we were watching like a
Oh.
Korn video and I was just like, what is going on with this shit? Like it was just like it's like absolutely like back then it felt like anything flew on TV, but it was also like Jesus Christ, like the difference of like just even frame rate and stuff that we have nowadays from compared to like even just like the year 2000 roughly. Like it was just kind of crazy. Like we moved off of like box TV standard like early 2000s. Crap. Like
Yeah.
Like watching one of those old WoW videos on YouTube from like 2000s where it's like
Yeah.
it's like a slideshow and it's like got the free version of Fraps or whatever. it is.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they're montaged with the
Oh
yeah.
my god, I can't tell what the hell's going on. You're just like,
Yeah.
Wow, rating
Sick,
montages, 2008.
PvP. You throw in some, I don't know, what was it, Breaking Benjamin in the background.
Yeah.
For jigs.
Yep. Man, Fraps takes me back. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a long time ago.
Right on. Crush. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the amateur scene here real quick. What's going on? Give me a rundown. What's
Oh,
happening?
goodness. It's been quite a couple of weeks. I mean, HRCS last week, can't censorship, 9 games in one night,
Yeah,
take
that
the
was-
title.
was pretty
Over
nice.
3, like, no pushovers either. What did they take down? Baby Diamond Hands, 30K Violet, and Wild Heart Omega. All in 2-1s, all in one night. That was quite an evening. Absolutely.
I would say we threw that harder than they won. All right, that's all.
Oh,
Would you say that?
wow.
Is that the call?
Wow.
That's the call.
You threw
Damn,
2
that's
games?
opium.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that it's Baby Diamond Hands because that's like what I would call the team if they didn't have that name. If they were like Diamond Hands Silver or something like Diamond Hands Plus, they'd be Baby Diamond Hands. That's just like
You
what
could
I
do
would think.
Diamond
of it.
Hands Junior as well. That would be
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Why aren't we naming teams like that? Why does it got to be a color? Like, where's
Junior,
where's 30K
the
to answer
second.
this? Yeah. Actually, good.
Remember-
Let me just ask you, why is it Wild Heart Omega? Come on. Why not Wild Heart, Baby Wild Heart or Wild Heart Junior? Come on. Or Wild Heart the Second.
Because
You're
we're
missing key
gonna
opportunities.
be here till the very end of the game's live.
Oh.
Is that the Omega?
All right.
That's the Omega. That's the
Yeah,
Omega.
it's
man.
Omega, Alpha, and Omega. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. But 30K, they gotta tell me why it's 30K Violet, because I mean you could have gone like 30K Violence. That'd work. Pretty
That'd be
well.
kind of cool. I was talking to Chris.
Come up a lot.
I was talking to Chris from Diamond Hands yesterday, just chatting, and he was referencing Baby Diamond Hands, and he kept calling them Baby Hands. And
Just picture those tiny little hands.
he was like, "Yeah, I was talking to Baby Hands." I was like, "Baby Hands." I'm thinking like, who's that? What player is that? What role does he play? You know,
Sounds like a TV gangster or something. Baby hands over there.
Yeah, but no, HRCS has been pretty cool, man. There's been, we're seeing less and less teams sign up, and I think that's just the nature of that grind, right? You're getting closer to the end. You see who's left. You see the people that have stuck around, who's made the improvements, who hasn't, and going into free agent season. If that continues, then there's a lot of information there for orgs to look at, for other teams to look at, Storm Division teams to look at in the future, whatever the case may be. So this has been pretty fun, and to see the other side of a lot of the quote unquote griefers that I see signing up in these games, I'm like, okay, maybe they're not griefers, maybe they're just misguided, But yeah, it's been really fun, and just seeing everybody again. I can't state enough. Just seeing everybody kind of come together and just make this thing happen. It's been awesome.
It's been great. Like we popped off pretty hard in the first phase, like 16 teams every week. That was far and above. That was incredible. Now we've got 9 to 11 teams any given week. You know, some switch in and out, but it's solid squads. Like they come in. It's not like, you know, people are just throwing drafts and going out in the first round. Like we've got 9 teams. I forget what we've got this weekend or this week.
Like today for
yeah, we've got a round tonight.
7.
We've got 2 rounds tomorrow. Like
you got,
all of these teams look great.
Yeah, like I actually have the bracket open right here. You got Baby Diamond Hands up against 7 Rings, 30K Violet versus Rook Gaming, and Man Chickens versus Can't Censorship. Like, those are all going to be bangers of best of threes. And for anyone wondering about Wild Heart Omega, they forfeited because they were like, "Oh man, Goon, I think Wild Heart Omega." No, they have a bye. They have a bye tonight. Wild Heart Omega has a bye tonight, so they'll go up against the winner of Baby Diamond Hands versus 7 Rings.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean the top teams, the established teams that have been there this whole time, continue to impress. I've got my eyes on 7 Rings, honestly.
Why is that?
They came out of nowhere for me. I had no idea who these people were. Looking at the names in the list, I was like, I don't recognize a single one of them. And they keep beating established teams, and they keep looking good while they do it. Like, they're right behind 30K Violet in points right now on the HRCS ladder, and it's really, really interesting to see how this team has competed, just in terms of my perspective on what the top NA players are.
Right. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't. Oh, sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
The only player I recognize is Crown. I don't know if you guys knew that's like what his name is. The Evolve.
I've been calling him A because I got nothing.
It's supposed to be. I asked. He's like a real OG player. Like he's someone that I like ran into a lot back in the day, back in like Alpha and stuff. Like he's been playing since like 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
But yeah, it's supposed to be Crown. It's supposed to look like a crown.
Some lore. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, I absolutely see
it. Yeah, it's like spliced and it goes in.
You have the eyes and then the A. Okay, so it's...
Okay.
I seriously, like, I look at all these names for 7 Rings, and, like, I think I might have casted Afterburn once, but, like, I seriously don't know any of these players, which is kind of crazy. Like, usually it's a somebody, like, there's a couple names from the grassroots that pop up, but, yeah, I have to keep my eye on 7 Rings, then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're playing they're also in Storm Division. I mean, for what it's worth.
They're in the points hunt for Storm Division. I mean, they're kind of behind Can't Censorship and 30K Violet right now. But if they go in hard this next week, they've got a chance to take a spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, $1 Million JPEG. We 2-0 them pretty easy. Just saying.
Or did they throw that game?
Oh, you know what? There was...
Did they Wild Heart Omega it up on you, Goon? Is that what they did?
You know what? There was a weird Alarak pick on Tomb. You know, sure, maybe they threw it. Maybe they threw it. But I mean, even in NGS, you know, we're not seeing the typical in Storm Division. We're not seeing the typical, you know, mishmash of CCL teams or whatever the case. Outside of We Take It Away.
Yeah, there's been less just random CCL conglomerations that just sweep qualifiers this time around. We had a couple of those in season 3, and it might happen next week. Like, CCL finals will be over. Maybe some team just gets thrown together and takes a spot. That's been known to happen with Storm Division.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see how it comes out. But a team like that at this point has to win because they don't have any points. But they've got no points to take those last spots. So either they win or they're not making it in.
Right. Yeah. It'll be a complete.
Who would do that?
Who would do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Who would do that, Justin? By the way, I've been seeing you, griefing some Storm League games, with your stack. What's going on there?
Well, I like to play with my friends when I play HOTS. So
okay.
That's the main thing.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I don't play. I
Same.
refuse to go into Storm League without like at least 2 friends because it's just like at least it's 3 out of 5 that are on my side of this, and me being one of them. Well, usually I fight against myself in my own positioning. So
2.5.
But
You get 2.5.
there you go, 2.5. So at least half the team is on point. The other half is drafting Butcher and then DCing, and then they go up against us the next game, draft Butcher, and don't DC and beat us, which is thank you, Storm League.
Are you signed? Are you going to play in the next Storm Division qualifier, Justin? Is that something you guys are looking to do?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It's not currently in the cards. I don't know.
Wait,
I'm
see,
waiting
I
for
guess.
Liam to throw in a team, because Liam usually throws in a team and sweeps a qualifier during one of these.
what about HRCS? What about Heroes Rise Contender Series?
I think that's like bullying. I don't think we're gonna do that.
Dang.
I've got prison buds constantly on deck, ready to step in. So
I mean,
if I want
Buds?
to make a team,
Hey, Buds has played, and I mean, they didn't do too hot. I'm just saying. His team didn't do too hot. I'm not saying Buds didn't do too hot.
he was just subbing, right?
What?
For whatever
True.
team.
Was he? Because he was there a few times.
He was there a couple of times, but I think
Yeah,
he was
he was
supposed to
a
be there
sub.
as a sub.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying, Justin. Like, maybe.
I mean, it would be
it's time
fun.
yeah.
Hey,
You know what you could do? You could handicap yourself super hard and get me to come play.
Yeah,
There you go.
I don't
And have me
want to
tank.
win that hard. Like,
Oh,
oh, you would tank, dude?
Justin,
Wow.
Priz,
Wow.
Buds.
Oh, if you
Bahamut.
tank, I mean, yeah, I'm down. I'm a bit of a Hogger Urel aficionado as of late, so
Nice.
I could
Alright.
I could bring up the main off lane position.
I would be very interested to see, like, some of the old heads kind of come and play and see how they stack up against some of these amateur players, because I don't know, man. They get pretty sweaty. Some teams are okay, there's still a lot to work on, but obviously there's still always a lot to work on. But I think some of these teams will like just actually genuinely surprise you.
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. I gotta ask this though, Justin, who wins in a 1v1? Urel, you or Liam? 1v1, level 1, no talents, no
level
dauntless.
1?
Like
Oh,
Urel
Liam
versus
for
Urel.
sure. Liam for sure.
Let's say this. You get dauntless level 1. That's it. It's dauntless level 1.
Definitely Liam, because I only know how to play with Q level 1. So
Oh, okay. All right.
I go a weird build. Maybe at level 13 I'd beat him, because my build would just damage diff him. He wouldn't be able to hurt me, because I'd be sitting in my armor field and pressing Q on him. But
That'd
no, he
help in a
would
1v1.
yeah, that would definitely help. But otherwise, no. Yeah, Liam definitely beat me.
We gotta get that as like a CCL prize pool goal. Like hit 17K and we'll get in the mid show interview. We won't do it. We'll just have Liam and Justin 1v1 on Urel.
Oh, that'd be embarrassing. Don't do that.
While Grubby sings over it. That'll be the thing.
Embarrassing for Liam. I understand.
Yeah, for
You're
him.
being modest.
Oh.
Yeah, you're being modest.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Storm, Goon, we touched on it. $1 billion JPEG. You came in as like a late addition, right?
Dude, it was like an accident, actually. So
Because Ace had to drop from the 8th position in the tournament, I think.
I don't know which team dropped. All I know is earlier that week, Zane Hyde was like, "Oh, I forgot to sign this up. Unlucky. We'll have to really try hard next week." And then the day of, he's like, "Oh, hey, we can play. They got us in." And I'm like, "I guess." And then we just kind of played, and we just ended up winning somehow.
Yeah, you just kind of rolled your way through. That was a pretty crazy.
I wouldn't say roll. I mean, there were some giga throws. It was definitely us throwing for sure. I'll say that much.
Wait, is that your team? The JPEG, $1 million JPEG?
Yeah, I'm on that team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw the picture for it. It's like the 6'9" monkey, right? The ape.
the board
I saw
apes,
that. I told Buds that was one of the teams, and I told him the picture, and he thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious too. That's funny.
See, the original team name was going to be Bored Apes, because we were just bored and we wanted to play the game, and like in a competitive fashion. But the $1 million JPEG just rolls right off the tongue, really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Bored Apes is already a trademark. You'd probably go to jail if you stole that name, I think.
True,
Oh, yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they've got that.
Go to
information.
NFT jail.
Yeah.
They've got the hash on the blockchain.
They just write your name
Yeah.
on the jail
Well,
ledger.
But what if you
Virtual
spell what if you spell it like board differently, like a board of wood? Done. Easy.
True.
Done. You can use
It's a
English
board
against all of these lawyers. It's easy.
Got him.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Nailed it.
No, but it's cool, and you know what? to be honest, like that was probably one of the most exciting things I think I have experienced in Heroes of the Storm in a long time. It was one of the most fun things for me in a really long time, and it kind of just like I don't know it felt cool. It felt cool, and just to do it with a group of fun guys. They're hilarious in their own way. Every int and all, it's awesome. But yeah. Right on. Let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the real meat and potatoes here. Let's talk a little bit about CCL and the playoffs this weekend. We've got 30K in first place, right? They're in the upper bracket. They're going into the grand finals with a 1-game advantage, which is lame, by the way. I wish there was a better way to figure that out. But
I'm right there with you. I said it yesterday on my stream, and I'll say it again. Like I don't like weighted best of sevens, but I can see it from a competitor's side, and I'm sure maybe Justin actually can weigh in on it. Like I get it from a competitive side. Like yeah, you won the upper bracket. Yeah, you didn't drop down. Like you can get that, but I like a series that goes full 7. But I don't know, Justin, do you have any thoughts on that actually?
I think if it's a best of 7, it's fine. If it's like a best of 5, then it feels really awkward, because then if the team comes in 2-0s, the series is just over, and that feels kind of bad. But I think with the best of 7, there's enough games that it's fine. And as a competitor, not getting an advantage that big for the winner's bracket or the upper bracket just feels absolutely terrible. So I think it's fine. As a competitor, it feels good and it feels justified, because it feels so bad to lose to a team when you're in the upper bracket and then have that team come back and beat you again in the finals, and have just one match just mean more than the other. It just feels really, really bad if you already beat them to not get anything to show for that.
Okay. I mean, it's the $1 million question, right? Like, what do you do for the winner's bracket? I think it's fine. I've seen the game advantage. I've seen that you get first pick and map pick, which is dubious depending on the patch. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting for someone to come up with the perfect solution. I don't think there is one.
I got you right here, Crush, because all have infinite time and we all don't need sleep. We'll do a best of 7 weighted, but we have bracket reset as well, like in fighting games. Easy, done. We'll just play 13 to 14 games of Heroes of Storm, right?
There you go. That's it.
Bracket resets, done. I was actually, I was talking about it yesterday, and I think it was Stark was saying in my chat that HGC did it ages ago. They did it for like 1 or 2 competitions. I don't know if it was a best of 7 reset or if it was a 5, but still, they did that, and it was like uber long of like a stream and broadcast, and people were like, yeah, we're not doing this again.
It's
in fighting, it makes sense. In MOBAs, no.
Because it's so fast. Competitively, makes perfect sense. You didn't lose twice, you just go again. But from a broadcast perspective and from a, hours in a day perspective, it's horrible.
Yarp.
It's a horrible time.
I did 5 best of 5s on St. Patrick's Day like 3 years ago for TESPA, and that was like a 12-hour broadcast, and I've never been so tired after talking for 12 hours straight.
I do think that the 1-game advantage is definitely fair, though, because if you think about it, like if you were to combine the 2 series together, the winning team is winning by at least 1 game, right? Like if you were to just completely mash it all together, have like one team's wins and loss from both series and squish it into one sort of thing, you're always winning by at least 1 game. Yeah. So it almost feels like a 1-game advantage like isn't enough realistically. If you 3-0'd the first time and then you come back and you had to win again in a best of like 5 or whatever, it just doesn't feel. It literally feels like you should already have like a 3-game advantage. So I think the 1-game advantage is definitely fair, because otherwise, like, I'd say the differential would be good, but then you'd have an even bigger advantage for first. Like if you won 3-2, you get like a 1-game advantage, or if you won like 3-0, it feels bad to not get an advantage, right? Because it almost feels like you should have a 3-game advantage. So I think 1 is fair, but it does kind of suck as a viewer. But as a player, it just feels better.
Well, I mean, viewers just want more games, right? It's hard to deny that.
Even on my end, like I remember when CCL was starting, like when we were like formulating the rule book and the plan for season 1 and everything, I remember like it was like Gilly and Dread and like Workhorse Jules, like we were all sitting in a room, even McIntyre, and like I even posed, I was just like, I personally would like to vote for like best of 7 no weighted. And then we got into the whole conversation of both ends, and Dread and Gilly brought up very good points about what Justin was basically saying, which is you go through this upper bracket, you should have some sort of reward, and then they were like, on a broadcast side, like I as the caster, I love a short day like of casting. I get to end the day early. I get to eat early. I get to go out in the sunlight a little bit. But like, I want 7 games. That's just me though. So either way, it's like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing you could do, this would be even more games, but I think if you maybe don't make it a best of 7 and you made it like a best of 5 or something, I feel like this sounds kind of horrible, but you could if you're the winning team or the upper bracket team and you lose, there should be another match. Because it's essentially the same as losing at any other point in the winner's bracket.
Yeah.
You could just do a rematch if you lost the first match, and just do 2 back-to-back matches basically if the winning team doesn't win the first one. And that feels like weird. I don't know if any games do that, but if you don't give them an advantage, that could be doable. But that could be a long broadcast.
It's so much more doable when like I've seen a lot of fighting games, but like a Smash tournament, like a best of 5 in Smash, that goes what? Maybe 10 minutes. I think there's more setup time than there is actual game time in like a best of 5. But they'll do like BTS Smash or whatever they'll do bracket reset and everything like that. And like I think it could work, but I think it would have to be like a best of 5 bracket reset sort of deal. That like let's take the example of like, let's use our bracket right now. 30K, they make it through the upper bracket, they're in the grand finals, and let's say Wild Heart beats Simplicity as we all expect, absolutely not going to jinx them. And then Wild Heart beats 30K, and then we just get a bracket reset, and then we go into another best of 5. Like it would be a long day, but like that'd be pretty cool to do. Like if we just did that, but then it also feels a little bad because it's a best of 5 grand finals, and 30K only needs to win 3 maps.
Yeah. So I feel like one of the biggest reasons why we have this one game advantage thing is because a lot of these events are smashed into a weekend, right? At these LAN events or whatever over the course of like 2 days, 3 days maybe. I will say that for the CCL Grand Finals, everything takes place on a Saturday. If a bracket reset is needed, you still have that Sunday that's typically part of that weekend to be able to do it if you wanted to. It's there. I'm not advocating.
I see what I see what you're saying. Like it doesn't hurt to theorize on these things because like it would be kind of cool to do.
It would be cool. The main thing I hear from a viewer perspective is just confusion on where you are in the tournament. Like someone comes in, is like, is this the finals? Maybe. Might be the finals, or it might not be the finals. It might be tomorrow, or there might be nothing tomorrow. Like,
we'll say this though, like Twitch chat, honest to God, half the time is clueless as to what's going on. Like, people literally, someone came to my stream yesterday and they were like, "What division are you casting?" And it literally says Heroes Lounge Division 1 in like the first like 20 like letters of my stream title. But like, and even then, like, even when we have weighted best of 7s and Grubby and I could say throughout the broadcast until we're blue in the face that 30K has the 1 game advantage, I will bet money this weekend that someone, if not many people in chat,
I thought it was a best of 7.
Is this a best of 7? Are we on map 1? What? Yeah. So I guarantee it's going to happen this weekend. 100%.
that totally
I've seen it. And like as I said, like I've watched a lot of fighting game tournaments because I respect that level of skill, and I'll have chat open and stuff like that. And when they go into bracket resets and stuff, they're just like, what's happening? Didn't he win? It's like, okay, Jesus, like I thought this was the norm in fighting games, but yeah. So it's just one of those things. Like people are always going to be clueless, and people always try and help as best they can to that.
Yeah. I mean. Maybe in the future. I think obviously for right now this is the best solution, and
Oh yeah,
it works.
I think this is fair, but I'm right there with you as a viewer. Like I want 7 games. Like I want it to be 3-3, and it's Anyways,
and I don't know. Maybe it's one of those you think you want it, but you don't,
until you get it, and you're like, oh, this is kind of bullshit.
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna take the day off. I'm not gonna watch. Yeah, but that's 30K up at the top with the 1 game advantage, and then we got a rematch in the lower bracket between Simplicity and Wild Heart. What are you guys thinking here?
I think we got robbed of our Wild Heart Storm match.
I agree.
Is what I think.
I'm right there with you, bud. I really wanted that, actually.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I'm kind of curious if dodging Storm is going to be advantageous for Wild Heart. That they kind of had Simplicity do the dirty work and take Storm out, which looked like the favorite from the lower bracket. So
they were looking really good, actually.
They were. I was really surprised to see Simplicity win that series. It kind of felt like Storm just kind of sort of fell apart at the end a bit. Like they were,
Oh yeah.
I don't know, it seemed like something was off. Like they were getting frustrated with each other or something.
It
And yeah,
it honestly seemingly started to manifest on Tomb. Like there was it's like I still to this moment like Lauber's positioning on a Nubarak at one point on Tomb, like he absolutely was just like on an island like way too far away from his team like in top lane and just got ganked, and like it felt like a spiral from Tomb onward. Like they bounced back on towers, but like it still felt like a really hard spiral for Storm, and I just don't know how they could come back into that. Like even the last play, like Justing, like we were talking about it, like that last play on Volskaya Foundry that ended the entire series. Like BBJ just got Omega flanked, and like that doesn't feel like a thing that should happen to BBJ. Like he's usually got pretty good map awareness.
yeah, that felt like just desperation or something.
Yeah.
The question I have is Storm, like is the gap between the top three and everybody else that massive that Storm can absolutely just shit on everybody in the gauntlet, get to Simplicity and look like that, or was that just a bad day for Storm?
I don't, it's really hard to say. Like
Yeah, what do you think?
I think the difference between top four is huge, and I'd put Storm in there. I think Storm and
Okay.
Simplicity were super close, so I don't think. I mean, it went to game 5, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think it's not like
True.
Simplicity 3-0'd them or anything. I think
True.
all four of those teams probably just a little bit above the others.
and
Yeah,
it's just
I can see that.
it's hard to say because like Simplicity looked not the best against Wildheart, and Storm just looked like they waffled constantly up against Simplicity. So
Yeah.
I know it's really gonna be. I think map 1 is gonna be kind of telling this weekend with Wildheart versus Simplicity. I really do. Like I
Yeah.
think Simplicity. Granted, you know, I say that and I can counterpoint myself at the same time because I feel like Simplicity really rallied in that best of 5 up against Storm. So, and I think that's a little bit of it too. Like I think, and everyone's like this. Like when you're winning, you're jiving, you're happy, you're all about making some risky plays that it seemingly played off really really well for Simplicity throughout that series. So
Yeah. I think
It's going to
ahead, Chris.
be. I think it's going to be an interesting set because honestly, between
Oh, yeah.
Wildheart and Simplicity, I think both teams believe they're going to win, no problem. I don't think either. I don't think either one is sitting there going, "We got to come up with some sort of deep cut strats to get past this team." I think they're thinking we can just play our game and win. And I think it's going to be a really interesting clash of styles in that way to see if anyone blinks and goes to the crazy route, if they do at all.
I like that take.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's kind of scary that Simplicity did win when we listened to their comms and they sounded super sad and like they were like yelling with each other, basically like arguing. Like that's kind of spooky because that means like I don't know, they're just like raw skill just carried them through because it seemed like they weren't even getting along, but still somehow managed to win the series. So
Or maybe it was
A
that
little bit spooky.
insane dragon arrow from Mene on the random BBJ walking across the screen.
oh yeah, I think Mene was kind of popping off. Mene
Yeah.
definitely didn't want to be done yet.
No, Mene
Oh,
was he was ready to win for sure.
It might even be one of those things like, and I think Goon, I think you've said this in the past about Wildheart. Like some teams play better when like it is literal do or die for them. So I think Simplicity they felt that fire and they rose to the occasion. I don't know. Yeah, Storm sort of left more to be desired in that series when it came to their play. Like I don't think they played awful, but I felt like they could have played better from what we had seen throughout the gauntlet and previous weekends of CCL play.
Yeah.
Their drafts were kind of weird too.
Yeah.
They weren't like exactly the same as what they'd been playing up until that point to get to where they were. It was kind of weird. Like they kind of stopped doing as much death ball-y games. And I think part of that might be from the Tomb game because the Tomb game Simplicity just literally drafted 5 heroes that counter death balls by just being like counter engage heroes.
Yep.
And Storm just like threw themselves at them and like didn't know what to do playing against things that kind of counter that play style. So I think that might be part of it.
Yeah, that Tomb draft was a Nubrak, Blaze, Tychus, Sylvanas, Uther from Storm, and then Simplicity had the Tyrael, Falstead, Lucio, Leorc, and Junkrat. So, and it was even I think we were in comms for Simplicity during that game, and the biggest play moment was Masquerade just saying, "We play around Sanctification," and they did. They played. They would get Bunker out, they'd pop Sanctification, they'd kill whoever was in Bunker. Like, it was really like insanely hard countered like throughout that game. Yeah. And you're right. Like even if I look at the main tanks, like we have Anubarak, Joanna, Varian, which was the Towers of Doom win for Storm, and then they go back to Muradin, which you'd think Lobber Muradin, like Haymaker Muradin, he's got that build, he's got that control, but I'm a little surprised that that's just not the case. Honestly, I thought Volskaya was definitely going to be in the hands of Storm Esports as we were looking at that draft.
Yeah. What about that first series between Sim and Wellheart? What were some of the things that surprised you? Obviously, I mean, the thing that came out all of a sudden was just prioritization on Zagara, and we had seen Simplicity kind of playing that throughout their season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Weary touched on this during his interview. It's like sometimes during these tournaments, you have these little micro metas or whatever that kind of pop up, and between certain teams or whatever the case may be, and people run with that. What do you guys think about all that, about Zagara, that first set, and then what that might mean going into the second one, into the rematch?
Do you have any thoughts, Justin, first?
So it seems mostly to be a Mene thing, and also I think Zag's been pretty good for a while now. I think teams have just sort of forgotten about her a bit. She got played a little bit last season, but not too much. I think it's mostly a Mene thing, and also just...
What do you mean by Mene thing?
Just one of Mene's heroes. Like, pretty much every time they got on Volskaya, it was either Zagara or Felstad for Mene. Like, pretty much every single game. I can't remember a game where he wasn't on one of those, besides the Hanzo game at the end.
Yep.
So, I think it's mostly seems to be, like, a deny pick for Mene, but also just... She has percent damage, and not a lot of heroes have that right now. It's mostly just Tychus is what people are relying on for that, and if Tychus is banned, teams have been pretty free to pick things like Diablo and Blaze and just not feel like they're punished at all. And it also might be some kind of a response against Rhaegar, because the attack speed totem and the spell power totem just like kind of crushes everything, but the Zag babies don't care about that.
That's true.
No, it's like as we were looking at those drafts consistently throughout the weekend, specifically Simplicity versus Wildheart, it actually there was a lot of targeting onto Mene, and Justin can't see draft chat, but I have referee set for me in game in case like a ref drops or stuff like that. We have a ref in game, so I can see draft chat, and there was a little bit of banter between the players when it came to Mene specific heroes. Like they banned out like I think they banned out like a Falstad or something like that. They targeted him for a couple heroes, and then they took the Zagara on like Towers of Doom. And I remember there was banter between them about like Mene playing Hanzo or something like that in comparison to like Wildheart playing it. So it was just like there was a little bit of a banter, and I think there was some targeting onto Mene in that series, and that might have been what kind of got under their skin a little bit, and that might be this is me just theory crafting, like that might be a play from Wildheart, like shut down Mene on his what. Everyone says he's got a massive hero pool, but we've seen him on Zagara, Hanzo, Kael'thas, Gul'dan, and Hanzo, I think. I Falstad, thank you. I was trying to remember which one I already said. So it's been like 5 or 6 heroes that we've seen throughout the entirety of CCL Season 3. Like,
how many
maybe he can be targeted down.
How many Kael'thas games did he play?
Didn't he play one, or was that a Wildheart draft? Am I misremembering?
No, he played it.
I know there was one.
He played it.
There was one on Tomb. I don't know if that was...
Hold on, I got my stat sheet here.
I think somebody on...
Maybe it might have been...
I think, yeah, Storm did play it too. I think Storm might have even played it.
Somebody else played it. But like, how many Kael'thas games did Mene play?
Simplicity has played one Kael'thas game on Infernal Shrines up against Chili Mountain, and then Storm Esports played Kael'thas on Tomb up against Chili Mountain as well. Got my stat sheet.
It could be the counter to Chili Mountain specifically. You never know.
you just gotta melt them. Haha.
They clump like the bronze players they are.
Oh.
That's what we do here, man. Welcome.
Goon's been
Okay.
sassing Chili Mountain since episode 1, man.
That's what,
All right. Hey,
we're here. Hey, we're here. We're on the source,
remember
baby.
Bush League. I remember Bush League. I'm forgetting. I knew what I was getting into when you asked me about this. I was like, hell yeah, I can have a beer too? Cool.
Yeah. I mean, so okay, he's got one game on Kel'Thas. All right, is that part of his hero pool? Maybe, potentially. I mean, obviously, we historically speaking, we know that he plays Kel'Thas. We know that he likes to Gul'dan.
We haven't seen him on things like Li Ming, though. Like, what's kind of crazy to me is, like, the Li Ming priority of the season feels non-existent. Like, it feels like the Vala show. Like, I feel like I see more Vala priority than Li Ming overall in the entire season. Like, it pops up here and there, but sorry. Go ahead.
I think Ming is pretty weak outside of BOE, specifically to poke, and even
Okay.
there she sort of feels like a worse version of Hanzo. I think a big part of it is that Lunara exists, and the Lunara
Okay.
level 7 talent feels like she does just as much damage as Li Ming does, but it's way more reliable, and she also has the sustained damage and more utility.
You can clear waves, right, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, she just does more than Li Ming.
She's got her
Li
own
Ming's-
Clear,
CC.
cleanse,
yeah,
spell
Li
the-
Ming-
shield, all sorts of
so
fun stuff in that
unreliable.
kick.
In the 128 or so games played this season, Li Ming has been picked 24 times, or 22 times, banned 4 times. So,
and a lot of those are
much.
Dino, I think, too.
yeah, no, you're very right with that. Yeah, because Dino does play a really strong Li Ming.
Yeah.
So,
Also
I don't know,
just
it's just interesting on the meta shift that we've had from like season 1 to season 2 to season 3. Like, I mean, how much Zagara do you remember seeing in season 1? Like, maybe there was one meme of it. I don't even think there was, but now it's like a prevalent thing that we actually have to consider in a draft. Because as Justin was saying, like, what was it like? You hit 16 and you pretty much just chunk enemies, and like Alterac Pass, Battlefield of Eternity, Towers of Doom. She's fantastic for all these maps. Even Volskaya Foundry, because everyone has to sit as a group around a point and just get shredded by the babies.
the babies.
Yeah, those babies.
The babies.
Well, they're hard to target down. There's a lot of them. You can talent into more health for them. That's
Yeah.
it's like having a bunch of Rhaegar totems around, man. It takes like 8 auto attacks to kill those stupid things.
And you're just dying, and then you like by the time you realize
Yeah.
like this is a bad idea, you start running away, and that auto attack range from one of the roachlings. Just like,
It was
You can see the
Aram
missile chasing
yesterday
you.
trying to play Zul Jin. I'm just like, someone target the totem. Ugh. Yeah. Wah. Trying to kill this stupid thing while it's doing an attack every 2 seconds.
yeah. Rhaegar is pretty like I don't know. It is pretty annoying to play into that, especially when in the amateur. I'm going to reference the amateur scene here a little bit. It is annoying to see or to play against Rhaegar because a lot of people like to kind of death ball fight, wombo combo kind of stuff, run at people when they do fight, and Rhaegar has this. He, for whatever reason, he pushes E, and then nobody does damage, and it kind of just shits on everything. It kind of just stops the plan. So that's not it. It's not fun to play into that. I wonder if people are more willing to kind of maybe we don't just peepo sprint at the enemy team. Maybe we find some other more interesting, creative ways to fight. I mean, poke comps exist, for example.
Oh, so what you're saying is everyone pops Bloodlust and runs in, right?
You
That's
could
what you want to do?
if you got the Rhaegar, yeah, why not? Pop the blood.
Honest to God, we
Get in
got a
there.
lot of Bloodlust in CCL among even just amateur leagues as well. Like I'm seeing it everywhere. Like I'm liking it. I like that we're not in the world of Ancestral and Farseer's Blessing only. Like Gladiator's War Shout, let's go.
Is that the I don't know if any of you know because I haven't played any comp with Rhaegar. Is the level 20 Bloodlust? Is that presumably the reason why we see more Bloodlust right now? Because you'd think that it would be like a meme that people would like bully you for taking Bloodlust, but we're seeing it quite a bit. I'm curious if it's just for the level 20.
I
Or
mean,
just Gladiator's War Shout? No, I think just
I don't
level
think
10
so.
Bloodlust is very strong. Gladiator War Shout, like Gladiator War Shout is, I think it just gives you range increase. Realistically, at 20, like Pit Fighter
the
or
duration.
the Storm Shield is probably better to have.
It's honestly flipped around. Now it's Ancestral. It's like you pick Ancestral to get that 20.
Yeah,
You get
that
that
is
double
true.
hit, you
Good.
get that splash.
Yeah, Farseer's
Alright.
Blessing with the secondary charge and the splash for 60% is phenomenal talent.
I just know when I've been playing with Buds and he gets Rhaegar, he's all excited for the level 20 Bloodlust. And
I mean, it's fun as hell.
It's not the
I'm
same
not
as
sure
it used to
what-
be. It doesn't.
No.
You don't have to
So-
think about
Bloodlust
it.
the whole map.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective for anyone wondering, there's 3 different camera zooms. There's your base zoom that you have whenever you're playing the game. In observer mode, there's a second zoom that you typically see for CCL, and then there's a third zoom that typically is utilized like when Belth and Alarian are on Battlefield of Eternity, and you can see both left and right. That standard zoom for like CCL and like casted games, that is about the range of Gladiator's Warshout. Is that entire screen? Like it is. The range increase is actually wonky. It's hilarious if you actually ever look at the giant circle that it puts around you.
Yeah, you just press R, and you're good, and that's it. That's the end of that,
If you have a rough idea of your teammates being around you, like they're not even on screen, you can still get them. Like you can bloodlust someone off screen is how far it is.
I was waiting in top and bottom brush, ready to go in as you're baiting in lane.
I actually wonder if you could because Tomb is such a squished map, I wonder if you could actually be in mid and bloodlust mid, top, and bottom if people kind of like clump up in the bottom and clump down in the top.
If you're in the turn-in zones, I can see it.
Yeah, like I feel
If
like
you're
you
sitting
could,
in those
blood-
turn-in zones ready to flank, I can see you hitting those.
I'm thinking like all the way at like fort already. Like you're pushing in, you summon web weavers like at fort range and you're threatening keeps, you pop bloodlust, 3 lanes of siege. Someone in chat can test
Just
this.
make it global. I'm a big advocate of this. Any 20 that you can possibly make global, just make it global.
Do you remember
it's
when?
always hilarious.
Do you remember Thrall Sunder used to be global?
Yeah,
you
it
took
was
it from me.
awesome.
You
They took it
from me.
away.
It's sick.
I was gonna bring up the same thing, man. Like you could be like your team would be on the enemy core, and it's just like, oh man, I don't know if we have enough damage. They're all encircling me, and you just spawn as Thrall. You're like, don't worry, guys, I got this. Boom, and it just goes across. Like, oh my god, it was the most memey fun thing to do. Like I miss what was it? World Breaker, I think is the 20.
Yeah.
Oh, good times, good times.
I used to be
good heroics.
I used to pick them on Curse Hollow, and then whenever we were on our boss, and I would see that they were missing, I would rip Sunder to their boss. Just, that's what I would do.
Vision.
My Diablo's going in. Yeah. Nah. But so for the finals, what do you guys think? What's the finals?
Jeez.
What do you want to see? We don't have to sit here and be all calculated and based off of, if it's a Tuesday, if they had, their milk on Tuesday. You don't got to do none of that. We just...
The first thing that came to my mind was Wildheart versus Sim. I can see going to 5 games. I would not be surprised if 30K doesn't drop them in the finals. If I'm being honest.
Okay.
They're looking fantastic.
They are. Absolutely.
Well, you see, Goon, based off of my calculations I've done, I can see that I have perfectly predicted. I honestly think, Wildheart beats Simplicity. I think Simplicity puts up a really, really, really good fight, but I think Wildheart should be able to topple them. And then 30K is a monster. It's gonna be Wildheart having to literally catch them beyond off guard, I think. Like, Wildheart has to come out with some innovative, crazy-ass shit that 30K just gets blindsided by, and I think that could be possible. Like, I'm not counting Wildheart out. I would say it's like a 70-30. Like, it's very much in favor of 30K, but like, I definitely think Wildheart, they can take a game or two, if not, like, maybe even the series if they get the momentum for it. Like,
sure.
I think Wildheart plays really well off of momentum if they can continually build on it.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of expecting the same thing. 30K looks kind of ridiculous right now. They kind of just look like they're in a class above everybody else. So if Wildheart beats Simplicity, which I think is possible, but it probably will be like relatively close to a 50-50. It might go to game 5. Wildheart probably has a better shot against 30K than Simplicity does.
Mm-hmm.
But I would agree that I think Wildheart probably has to cheese to beat 30K. Because 30K plays, their drafts seem to always be exactly the same pretty much. Like, there's never anything like weird besides that one weekend against Simplicity. There hasn't been like anything weird at all from 30K. It's just been the same. Like, we'll go through the stats and Baha will be like, oh, they're 9-1 on Lunara, they're 10-1 on Blaze, and it's always the same heroes, just with ridiculous win rates. Yeah. So I think Wildheart has to cheese if they want to win, assuming they get to the finals, and probably the same for Simplicity. If Simplicity gets to the finals, they're going to have to just have Mene split push, run it down on weird heroes or something, I think, to beat 30K.
obviously, I'm gonna say Wildheart wins, right?
Yeah.
Wait, crazy? Really?
Not biased at all. No, but for what it's worth, I'm always like blown away by what the Wildheartians come up with, what they pull out, and how they perform. Just to be real, I look at a player like Slug Hunter who his competitive experience, he has some competitive experience from years ago. He played on the academy team, but he's been around the competitive environment a lot. I mean, Justin, you worked with him in the past when you were on Octalysis, right? He was like your social media guy and stuff, and he was in scrims. He soaked in all of that, just that atmosphere of what it's like to be on a team, and he's a very coachable person. He was a support main that we converted into an offlaner, and here he is in the top 3 of season 3 CCL against the best teams. Like you see something like that, and it's like that is like that's a huge win. Mason and Tremor coming in from years of amateur play, and making a name for themselves, popping off, looking good, and I don't know. I obviously I want my team to win. I want to see him win, and it'll make it
Nothing wrong with that.
even more special to see this group of guys be able to pull it off.
Hey, no, I mean, I've said it before. Like, I love Wildheart. Like, if I had to have a team that is my favorite team for CCL, it's Wildheart, of course. But I have to, of course, have caster bias. But I'd love to see Wildheart win in this. And out of curiosity, Goon, you don't have to give away any major secrets. But how hard is Wildheart prepping for this weekend? Do you know anything? Can you
They're in scrims right now. They're just in scrims right now.
Is it just nonstop? They're just hitting the books. They're watching VODs and stuff like that. Or you're sending them bags of Fritos and that's all they have to survive off of.
This might surprise a lot of you, but I kind of keep my distance when it comes to the CCL guys a bit. I'll pop in, hang out, get to see what they're talking about. Maybe I'll throw in my 2 cents about a certain draft pick, or maybe
how they're not playing Shogal.
Yeah. Maybe when it comes to certain calls, macro decisions, or I'll just ask a question what was their logic behind this? I'm not understanding this, and then through those questions they realize okay, maybe that wasn't they find an answer there, and they're like, oh, that wasn't a thing. But I let them do their thing. I take a step back. I can't get too invested, man, because I can't enjoy it. I can't enjoy it if I'm in there, doing
No, I
thing.
get you. Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, it is the final play day of season 3. I can only assume that it's just been nonstop for these players, getting ready for the weekend.
Yeah. I spend more time with the amateur guys. That's where my...
Oh, so you have a favorite team? I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious. Justin, you've played in CCL maybe a little bit here and there. You've got some a little bit of competitive experience and history. If you were Wildheart, or even Simplicity, if you're just one of these players and you're prepping for this weekend, what's the biggest prep for you? Is it doing a bunch of scrims? Is it a balance between scrimming, sleep, and VOD review? What's kind of... How would you lead your troops into battle for this weekend? I'm curious.
The flute.
So, oh yeah,
What
have it
instrument? I guess is how we start.
deck. Oh yeah, I had my my recorder that I got to do my battle cries, but you definitely, I mean, scrims are important, and you should know probably about a week ahead of time. So at the start of the week, you should have some idea of what your draft is going to look like, and then usually the first day or 2 is very experimental, testing those things to see if any of them stick, if any of them are good. And then after that, it's just repetition of the things that you do choose that you're going to be practicing. And depending who you're getting scrims with, if you do have cheese strategies prepared, you have to think really hard about that, because you don't want any of your stuff getting leaked, because people do talk to each other, the players talk to each other, they're all friends outside of it, so it's dangerous to show your strategies. We had some things that we would practice literally months before and just never play ever again, just hoping that the teams forgot that we played this weird cheese comp. We're yeah, okay, we played that a month ago, you guys remember how to do this, right? Because it was just too risky to even practice it right beforehand. So yeah. You need... Oh yeah, go. And you need at least one person who's like pretty draft oriented to just spend some time on that, because you can't do that during scrims.
Yeah.
You ever pull out one of those like 2-month-old drafts, like just like you blow the dust off of the page, and you're just like, all right, I hope everyone knows how to ride their bike. We're going with this one. Like, did you ever do that in CCL or anything? Like, I'm just curious if anything comes to mind.
Yeah, we've definitely done some stuff. Like, I'd say our 2017 BlizzCon run, we didn't practice all that stuff a ton, all of the cheese comps that we played, and we played a lot of cheese comps. That was a little different because we were able to practice it against NA before we left for BlizzCon, but when we were at BlizzCon, we weren't really practicing any of our cheese comps there, even though we knew that that's probably what we would be playing in the finals, because it's just too risky to show that type of stuff to anybody there. Who knows, you run a Samuro comp on BOE, like we did, you do that in scrims, and everyone's suddenly playing Samuro because it turns out it was OP, and then you're like, okay, well, that doesn't work. Something that I would do a lot, though, this is one of the ways that I would get around this is we would play the cheese comp, like the main function of the cheese comp, and we would just play it while substituting out some of the heroes. We would make it intentionally more difficult for ourselves, but try to substitute things that are similar, that fill a similar role, so we weren't giving away the actual comp that we wanted, but we could still get like practice on like two pieces. So say I want to play Abba Samuro comp, I draft the Abba Samuro, and then I draft just like 3 garbage heroes that don't make sense with the comp. So like it's gonna be hard mode, but the main core that is like being tested is the Abba Samuro, and so if the Abba Samuro can kind of overcome how bad the rest of the comp is, we don't give anything away. The practice is like, it's like practicing with ankle weights on or something, and then yeah, we give nothing away really, and you do that for like all the combos. Like if there's like 2 or 3 heroes that really need to be put together, you just test those with like a different other 2 heroes that you wouldn't be playing, just so that you're not leaking your whole entire cheese comp if you have a strategy like that.
That is some like 8D chess right there. Like, Jesus, like I didn't realize that it can get that layered, because like I've always been like, I obviously never played at that level, so like I always kind of understood that it was like, oh, like scrims are sacred, you're not supposed to like share scrim stuff, but like the same time, like someone beats you with that Samuro Abba comp on Battlefield, you're just like, well, we have to try and figure out why that works so well for them. So yeah, like that's actually really interesting that you literally just you test the core, but you flub the rest in a sense. Like, oh yeah, we got Abba Samuro, but we also drafted a Phoenix because he doesn't do anything. So yeah, that's actually really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, ban our Phoenix. That's the critical component.
Yeah. I think it's also on top of the scrimming and stuff like that. Sure, you do got to take a step back and like go back and watch some film and see what it is that needs to happen, what you're doing, what you're messing up on, and still having the conversations around the game. Because if you're not doing that and all you're doing is just running games, and then once the games are done, you're like, okay, nice job, guys, and you disappear and you leave, like nothing gets reinforced in your mind. Nothing is in your brain. It's not solidified there. And you just show up the next day for game day and you just do the same Pepega thing you were doing yesterday, you know. So it's really important to do that. And also to kind of have some alone time, have some quiet time. I think that's also important. Don't burn yourself out from scrims. I know people that'll scrim or play games or whatever and then just be tilted. And then they're just coming in tilted the next day or whatever, because they're still remembering, you know, the session from the day before or a couple days before, and that shit carries over. It carries on throughout the rest of your week, and outside of the game, you go to work pissed off. You know, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever says something, you're mad. You're like and they're like, what's wrong with you? Like nothing's wrong with me. It's, well, no, yeah,
I'm fine.
Yeah. I just scrimmed for 4 hours, and I'm mad that my teammate was inting or whatever.
But that's a really good point, Goon, because like even in like our casual games, like we all like we'll play Storm League, and like as I was saying earlier at the start of the broadcast, like sometimes you get the butcher on your team, he DCs and you have an AI butcher, but then you play against him in the next game, he doesn't DC and he beats you. Like it's like, that is so tilting, and you got to be able to walk away from it and take a break. Like you literally got to be able to like take a breath. Like, yeah, I lost 600 points today, but like I got to play with my friends. Like I'm gonna go relax and like there is a big mental value. It like absolutely like. I
don't know about that specific scenario that you just gave right there. That's some hard copium, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Through it and I've been living through it. I've just been replaying that match in my head since Tuesday. I'm just like, freaking butchers, man.
Yeah, but right on, cool. Let's see. There is at least one more topic here I want to go over real briefly here, and that is improving the competitive scene a bit, or what evolving the competitive scene a bit. Obviously, we can't, we don't have the luxury of updates and things like that as much as we used to, but I will say there are things that we as a community can do to kind of make the game a little bit more interesting for ourselves, and maybe bring our own balance. Back in the day, Justin, and I know you remember this. Like there was no drafting in game. There was no drafting in game, and then when there was drafting in game, there was no bans. There were no bans either, right? You had to go and we started with one ban, and then it was the two bans. But what kind of things would you guys like to see, or what are some things you think that the community can do to kind of, I guess, kind of just patch the game for ourselves?
I'd like to see more people. Well, I can't tell if the matchmaking in Storm League is actually just broken. So if you just break the queue for everybody, if you queue up as 5, at least in like Master, I don't know if that's a real thing or not, or if that's just a myth. It seems like it happens like half the time. But if that wasn't the case, I'd like to see people just grouping more and playing more. Like, I see my whole friends list just playing Storm League all by themselves, and that's so weird to me. Like, I don't understand that. Like, HOTS is not League of Legends. It's not Dota. You're not getting super fed and killing the entire enemy team by yourself. Like, it's not a 1 versus 5 game. It's so team based that I don't understand why everyone's just playing by themselves all the time. I would rather see people queue as 2, queue as 3, queue as like 5, like,
Yeah.
because you just get better games. Like, I think what HOTS does better than all the other MOBAs is it's so team based. It's so like it's a team effort every part of the game. You can't just get fed and win the game by yourself.
Yeah.
So I would prefer to see people actually like playing together. It's just really weird as me seeing like you finish scrims and like 5 of your teammates are like, all right guys, now let's all queue up for Storm League together, alone, at the same time. It's like, you can queue together, right? Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me because the game just feels so much better to me when you're in comms with everybody, when you're playing with the team. I feel like that's what the game is made for. So it just feels bad to see everyone playing solo.
Yeah. I tweeted out a half meme a while back. The first 5 stack to get GM 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll draft for CCL.
I figure it's got to be something with the matchmaking, because like
I
I watch some people stream and they talk about they got to get back into the lobby. That's why as soon as the game finishes they got to hit the Q button again so they don't miss the next game.
Right.
Because there's just that few people in that particular MMR bracket playing at that time. I can imagine maybe if you're queuing as 5, it's just harder to hit those. I don't know.
It is. I think like 2-man and 3-man doesn't seem to have a huge problem with it, but if you do 5-man,
if you're 4 or 5,
it does something. Yeah, I don't know what it does to the matchmaking, but
because we see that, like I see it with NGS amateur teams, like people in like gold, plat, diamond range, but an hour or two before 9 p.m. when the NGS season is on, like you're hitting full NGS teams if you're queuing up for Storm League. But if it's up in the Master Grandmaster range, if it's just a system issue, I think that's it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's that way.
I think you can get away with 2 or 3, right? In it, like you can duo queue or trio queue.
Yeah, I mean it'll do 3-1-1 or it'll do 2-3. That's that's not so bad in terms of things. But once you go to 4-5, it freaks out a little bit.
I feel like I've been hearing about this for like years, honestly. Like even when we had like HGC and stuff like that, like I still felt like I had friends in Master, Grandmaster who were like, I'd be watching their stream or they'd be like Discord streaming to me and I'd be like, dude, like take a break. He's like, no, I literally like, he's like, you end the game, you just hit re-queue. Like you can't miss that. Like it's like a wave. Like you're constantly riding this queue wave. And if you miss it, you have to sit there and wait for the next set to like come through. Yeah. And sometimes it's 40 minutes, sometimes it's an hour. Sometimes you play a whole Hearthstone games while you're just waiting.
Yeah. And when Leon Black ends stream, that's it for HOTS, boys.
Oh, I mean that's when Twitch is over too.
Yeah,
Leon Black stops streaming. I close Twitch. I shut it down.
Yeah. Twitch shuts down. Everyone starts queuing, gets on their Smurfs and starts leveling up in ARAM because those games go on forever. Yeah.
ARAM's
I feel
always
like
popping.
ARAMs are either 10 minutes or 30 minutes. There's no in between. Like, it's like
ARAMs
Jumon's,
are only 30 minutes when you queue up at 8:40 and your match is at 9. That's when you can get your 30-minute ARAM.
exactly. But if you're like,
Every
oh,
time.
it's like half an hour before I gotta go go skiing or something like that. Like I got half an hour to kill. I'll do an ARAM. It'll take that time, and it's like a 5-minute ARAM. You get like 2 Zool Jins. You're like, when does this like what the hell? Yeah.
What about in competitive leagues and things like that? This is something that I've been thinking about. If you could, I'll ask everybody here. I mean, Crush, we talked about this last week, and even before. But for Baja and Justin here, if you could incorporate more bands into the game, how many would you do, and where would you put them?
More bands just in general, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Hero bands. Yep.
So I don't know how you would implement this in Storm League without making a lot of people angry.
Sure.
But I would like to see some kind of.
I'm speaking strictly competitive. Like
Okay,
Storm League is its own thing.
Okay, so I wouldn't mind to see something somewhat similar to how I understand the rules for something like Meta Madness to be, where once a hero is picked, you can't pick it again, or you can maybe like permanently ban out like the first like 3 heroes the enemy team picks or something like that, for like the whole thing. I would like to see, because I think drafting is such a cool part of HOTS, and I think it's kind of, it feels bad to see, possibly due to the balance of the game right now, to see a certain small amount of heroes just being vastly prioritized over everything else, because it kind of does feel that way. It feels like there's just like 6 offlaners that are super strong, and there's like 3 ranged that are really good, and 3 supports that are really good, maybe 4, maybe 5, and it feels kind of bad to just see the same heroes so frequently, especially in this season towards the end. It feels like everyone's kind of drafting the same stuff. Right. Part of that I think is because of like the power creep with their most recent changes. Everything that's been changed has been really strong, and also that there's been such a long time between patches, so the meta does get kind of stale on its own. So I would prefer to see some kind of thing where it's sort of like Meta Madness, where like once the heroes are banned, they're just banned for the rest of the series or something like that, so that teams were forced to innovate and do different types of strategies each game, so that you couldn't win by playing the same strategy every game. So teams like Storm that primarily just would win through deathballing every game had to change things up through the series and be good at multiple things instead of just being really good at one specific thing.
I mean, I personally, like, I don't play a lot of League. I barely even understand the concept of Dota, but like I watch a lot of the bigger competitions of those. I'm all for more bans in general. We have a lot of heroes in Heroes of Storm, and as Justin was saying, there's like 6. It's like Blaze. There's more Blaze. How about some more Blaze? Would you guys like more Blaze in your solo lane? How about another Blaze? Because that's literally everything that's prioritized.
Blaze looks good here.
Yep, you know what? Hey, this is like a Blaze map. When is it not a Blaze map? Never. Yeah. So, like, I literally was looking at some of the stats from some of the drafts this past weekend, like, while we were talking, and I was, like, looking at one of the teams, and it was Blaze first pick, Blaze first pick, Blaze second pick, Blaze first pick. Like, 4 games, all Blaze. I would say let's do it like League. Like, let's add a ban at the start, and let's add a mid ban as well. Let's get 5 bans going. Why not? 10 bans. There's a lot of heroes. What we're at. 90 heroes in Heroes of Storm, so I think like either adding another ban at the start for 3 at the start, and then you get 1 singular mid ban, or you have 2 start bans, 2 mid bans. I think that will push the envelope a little bit further when it comes to what we could see for draft, because I think, as Justin was saying, a lot of teams fall into a play style, and if they can't play that style, then they just like double support, or they find some sort of cheese. So I'm all for adding more bans where that's for someone who actually understands balance and development to come into play.
So I don't know if this is the way for like LCS for League of Legends. I just watch like some people play League on Twitch streams and just normal ranked and stuff. The way they seem to have it is everyone gets, like, each of the players has a ban. And you can see what your teammates are banning, but because it's all very role-oriented, you don't tend to overlap bans with your own team. But you don't see what the enemy team's banning. So you might both end up banning the same thing. I don't know if that's something that would be applicable to HOTS because it's such a team-based game and the roles are defined in a different way.
Yeah. Because, like, in League,
Where, like, you get, like, 2 Stukov bands and you get 2 Rhaegar bands and 2 Johanna bands, and because you don't want to risk that the other team let it through.
Yeah, I mean, like, in League, I remember I played one time and I was streaming for a friend and I was like, I picked this, and they were like, oh, this person picked this because you didn't ban it out. And I was like, so what do I do? They're like, just don't lose top lane at this point. Like, it's literally like, you ban what you don't want to go up against in your lane, like ADC and support and bottom. They ban out things in bottom. Mid lane bans mid lane. Jungle bans jungle. Top usually bans top. And sometimes you do get some of the players like top lane's like, I don't care what I have to play against. I'm a Darius. I'm a Garen. I just get to this level and I win the game. And so they'll use their ban to help bottom or mid. So there is some strategy to it, but I think it's very much like that. It's you ban the thing that you don't want to play against, whereas HOTS is a lot.
The structure just isn't the same.
Maybe like Dragonshire that can apply, but like even then, like Dragonshire, we've been seeing insane rotations to top lately.
I think in competitive League, I should know this because I watch like a lot. Actually,
Yeah,
I think that I think they do 3 bans in the first rotation and then 2 bans in the middle.
They switch up to the mid. Okay.
So in ranked games, it's just everyone bans at the start, and then in comp, it's 3 at the start and 2 in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is right. Yeah.
I think the biggest problem with adding more bans in the middle, it gets weird for second pick, because by that second pick phase, ban phase, one team has 3 heroes and the other one, only has 2. So now second pick even has even less heroes to work with than the first pick. You think there's some way where both teams can end with the same amount of heroes, or whatever the case would be by that phase?
You'd have to like move the ban, I think, to let second pick another hero after the first pick has picked its 2-3.
Right.
And just pick 1 and then go to bans. I think that's how you'd have to do it. It'd be awkward.
It'd be fun to check out. Like I'd be very interested to see how that could actually work out. Like I don't know, like because you guys were talking earlier about how there used to be like there was no drafting in game, and I remember like back in Chair League, like when I played competitively for like 2 months or whatever, we had like there was a third party website that you would just utilize, and that's how you did your picks and bans and everything for draft. You do it through like a Discord or even Cursed at the time. You do it through like just a DM to the whatever captain you were talking to. It was kind of crazy. My favorite thing always stands though is that if there was a new hero and the website wasn't updated, it would always be Murky takes place of the new hero, because nobody played Murky apparently back then. Like it was like I was like, this is a staple, like this is a placeholder character for the new person that just came out. So like, oh, Zul just came out, ban a Murky, that's a Zul.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I think any change to the draft, we would have to say, okay, someone's got to make a website, and that's going to be the way that we draft if we want to just make our own draft rules.
It'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be cool to do something like that. I know. There's someone out there who knows how to write HTML code. They can easily do it, right? That programming is easy.
Samil, where are you?
You just go to what's that website that everyone uses for programming, and you just copy things from that website.
Stack Overflow.
Yeah, you just go to Stack Overflow. Everything you need, right?
Yeah, just copy paste all that code.
Yeah. Oh.
I kind of like the idea of the like blind bans though. I think that could work. Like what you
It
talked
could be an
about, Crush with
interesting
League.
format. It's just
Maybe-
like, okay, your choice. Do you want to risk it if your first pick to leave Johanna Rhaegar up? Are they going to ban it? Maybe they don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I
it
could
kind of
maybe-
makes it a little bit more pure in terms of,
That is pretty
I
interesting.
mean, it's plus and minus, right? Because there's a strategy element of like, I'm first pick, I can leave stuff open, versus I'm second pick, I don't have the opportunity. So it changes that part of it, but it's also like, it's a change. It's a change that we don't get to see a lot of these days. Would it be so bad to try a tournament that way? I don't think so.
No. All right, Goon, get on it.
I'm thinking. Hey, anybody out there, you want to do some stuff like that, hit me up. I'm all about it. I'm all about doing weird shit.
Can I just say really quickly, when we started the stream, Goon was at 799 followers. Someone has got to have followed by now, right? Can we push Goon to 800 followers? any non-followers?
Yeah, we got to follow.
There you go. Okay,
it's
good.
all
good.
good. It's all good.
I didn't see any alerts, so I was like, I gotta plug this.
No,
we need
no.
one singular follow.
We don't alert. No alerts here. No alerts here.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Right on, right on. You know what? There was one other topic. Up to you guys if we want to get into it or not. I guess real brief. You know what? Fuck it. Might as well.
We can do a quick hitter.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Obviously, you all saw the news, right? Microsoft is looking to acquire Activision Blizzard.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Assuming all things go through, all the paperwork happens, blah, 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 blah. We're looking at, June of next year. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right. I'm just going to go ahead and, look. We're not saying. I'm not saying. I don't think Microsoft is going to come in here and lift HOTS out of the ashes like that, and that's what's going to happen. But I do believe that now the culture around the way Blizzard develops its games and the way it wants to work is going to change a little bit. And maybe there's going to be a few people that they kind of want to. Maybe they'll wander over here and check out what's going on with HOTS and decide to do something with it. Maybe they add more patches. Maybe we'll get another hero at some point in the future. I think that is a lot more likely to happen now than before. That's my take on it.
Sure. I sit here and I just say that it's way too early to even make a call. The ink's not even dry yet. It's going to be a few months before. I don't even think it's a few months. Like, I think we're talking at least half a year to a year before we actually see any sort of like internal movement. People got to get fired. People got to get paid out to get fired. People got to get moved around. Like, it's going to be a little bit of time. So, like, all the people, like, I went on Reddit today for, like, 5 minutes and I closed it because I was like, Jesus Christ, Here's a Storm. Like, the Here's a Storm Reddit is just turned down the copium. Like, it's... Also, keep this in mind, too.
I don't
like,
go
for all
there
the people
anymore.
that are like... people who are like, oh, HGC, it's coming back. Keep in mind what happened to HGC.
We have it.
And imagine being an investor. Like, imagine being Tempo Storm and HOTS 3.0 is here and is backed by Microsoft and all that. Would you really want to invest in something that you've already invested in, you're done with? You've got a League of Legends team that's doing way better. Like, no, like, invest in what we have. Like, to all the people that want HCC, you've got it right now. Like, we've got Nexus
I've been
Gaming
telling
Series.
that to everybody.
We've got Heroes Lounge. We've got grassroots things like the Zul'jin Distillery Tournament Series. We have the Girls Gank Squad. We've got CCL. Like, we've got Meta Madness. We've got X Cup. We've got so many things. Like, enjoy what you have now and keep building what we have now so that way we can grow. Like, that's the takeaway. Like, I understand the past was fun. It was cool. But we have stuff now. Keep pushing what we have.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's my PSA.
Absolutely.
It annoys me every time. It's just like, when's HGC coming back? I'm like, it's right here, season 3, man. Like, come on out.
We're in it, dude.
This is it. I will say, I mean, you see it in the chat right now. Yes, the memes are lovely. It's been a lot of new content out there. Thank you very much, Twitter Sphere. I don't see... I think it would be cool if at some point, future... whoever's in charge decides to throw more money at Wisdom. I think it would be great if the team that, whoever happens to be working on Heroes part-time is given more time to do so. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing that could possibly happen for Heroes of the Storm, and I don't even know if this is a possibility, is if Heroes of the Storm is visible on Game Pass. I think that is potentially the highest impact outcome of this deal. Is getting our clickable link in front of Game Pass eyes, because that is a massive, massive product in the gaming industry right now.
I have a greedy theory of what could also happen as well that I've been pondering. I have a greedy theory that because I see this with like Disney Plus does this. Like they had like the Jungle Cruise movie and Black Widow. All of those came out early, but you had to play for like Disney Plus. Like you had to pay extra money on top of the thing that you're already paying for to access this content. So I wonder if there's a conversation being had with Game Pass where it's like, oh, what if we do Game Pass Plus and you get a free subscription monthly to WoW? Like I was like, I wonder if they do something like that where it's like they try and bake in like a WoW subscription into Game Pass. Like
isn't it already a thing a little bit?
I don't know. I literally don't know. Yeah. I don't play WoW, so I can't talk to the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right now, it's between console and PC. I think you can pay extra to have both.
I see.
Okay. So that's why I'm like, I wonder if there's a world where they try and play into WoW subscriptions, because we all know that is the bread and butter of that company. Like it is WoW. Like WoW probably still breaks in the vast majority of the money for Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
What do you
If
think?
my perspective is, if they don't just make it free on Game Pass, I think Microsoft's out of their minds. I think that's
Here's the Storm.
oh wow. Like I think they just go, you know what?
Yeah.
It's there. This is our golden goose day one, splash. If you're a WoW player, you just get Game Pass. If you're a Game Pass subscriber, you just get WoW. I could see them.
It'd pull more playership into World of Warcraft because you don't have that barrier of the second subscription.
Yeah. I think there's a ton of people right now that would play WoW if they didn't have to pay for it because they already have Game Pass. They played it for 10 years and they stopped because their friends stopped. But if they could just do it for free, it's like, yeah, totally.
No. I mean, isn't that why Final Fantasy 15 or whatever has so much like popularity? Like
14.
You don't or 14
It's
like you
free.
don't it's free. It's free for like a vast majority of the content. Like you don't like usually those things like you get like 20 hours of gameplay, but it's like level 50 and like the whole first like chunk of like the game or something like that. Like
It's a massive amount.
it's a pretty decent like
You get like
sale
40
point.
hours of gameplay for
Yeah.
free. Their deal is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then usually you're sucked in by then. You've already invested 40 hours. You might as well pay and find out the rest.
You've seen enough cat girls to go ahead and throw your money at it.
So many cat girls.
Justin, what do you think, man?
I've managed to stay away. Justin, have you got sucked into the world that is Final Fantasy 14?
No, I played a little bit, but it wasn't for me. I don't know. I can't get into any MMOs after playing WoW and spending so much time playing WoW. It kind of like killed every other MMO I've tried since for me, just personally.
Oh, I can't get into them either. I
think-
barely like, yeah.
I think you guys are pessimistic. I'm excited for the Bill Gates League. That
Okay.
I'm
All
expecting
right. I mean,
the Heroes Bill Gates Global Championship.
Oh God, Justin,
No,
please.
no. Right now, I think this is what I think. What I mentioned earlier is what we'll see. I think that's what we'll see, and we will eventually work our way up. I'm still optimistic. I'm just not jumping
same.
to that conclusion right now. That's my. But hey, props to you if you think that the Bill Gates Super League extravaganza is going to be, it's going to be the thing.
All I'm saying is just turn down your copium. Just turn down your copium out there. Like I understand. I know you're all excited, but like I was like watching Grubby and like even he was just like he's like, look, like I'll put it in the universe, but he's like, I don't expect it. Maybe we'll get the reforge we've always wanted. Like because there are so many other games that also would love to have the investment of
Absolutely.
of Microsoft into the
StarCraft.
failures per se. Yeah, I mean
Warcraft.
ESL has StarCraft right now for esports, but who knows? I mean, Microsoft might see what ESL's doing and say like, "Oh, okay. Like StarCraft, it's a dead esport for the last 10 years. Let's revitalize it."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like expecting much. Maybe just to like build HOTS into every new Windows machine that gets released. Just have HOTS. That's
so
part of,
basic,
like,
right?
The
Yeah.
package. Yeah.
you got your
I'm not looking for
Minesweeper,
much,
you've got your
but my-
pinball, you've got your heroes. It's right there.
yeah,
Windows
my
11, baby.
expectations are pretty low. So.
I heard Windows 11 does come with a free install of Heroes of the Storm, and every single time you boot your computer, it just boots Heroes of the Storm for you as well.
Gives you that
Good.
137 patch every time you're trying to restart your computer.
No, I heard Windows 11 fixes that totally. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
No, no. I heard a rumor that if you reinstall Heroes, like if you give yourself a fresh install gets rid of it. That's not true. So whoever wrote that, you're a
man.
dirty liar. You're a dirty liar.
Unlucky. Unlucky. Right on. Anything else y'all want to add here?
Everything to say has been said over the last,
Right.
2.5 days, however long it's been.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I almost didn't want to bring this up because I'm like I'm kind of tired.
It's
of
yeah.
it,
I mean,
but-
it's an interesting topic, but it's just like it's so early to even really know where it's gonna go.
Right. We got CCL Finals coming up this weekend. That's awesome. That's going to be fantastic. We got Storm Division qualifiers are happening. Or I'm sorry, HRCS is happening tonight. Bahamut, you're going to be casting. Crush, you're going to be casting as well. There's going to be a series tonight, and then tomorrow we've got the semifinals and finals as well. And when's the next qualifier for NGS? Is that next week or the week after? Do we
Which
know?
one?
NGS qualifier.
Storm
Division.
qualifier. Final qualifier is next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. So if you haven't signed up, if you haven't qualified, if you're,
You got to do it by this weekend. So
Yeah.
if you're playing, you got to get in there
Saturday.
now.
Saturday, right? is the cutoff for that sign up. If you're looking to stack up and bully some nerds, go ahead and do that right now. But thanks for being on, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope you all had a fantastic time chat. Thanks for being here. Before we leave, though, let's go around the room here and any hot takes, any final hot takes, anything that you want to say before you head out. This is your place to say it. Nobody can stop you. We'll start with Baha.
Every single CCL team is absolutely a coward for not picking up Shogal consistently. I realize that I'm showing my different virtual cam. Enjoy your bandit right here. I realistically like CCL, like, my biggest takeaway in all of this is just, like, support your grassroots. Like, if you love CCL, cool. If you love Heroes Lounge, Nexus Gaming Series, just invest into what we have right now. Back it, watch it, lurk in it, subscribe, whatever. Like, just enjoy what we have now, build on what we have, and keep the growth and keep the community going. Like, I think that's the biggest takeaway that I can offer up, really.
Right. Justin, what do you got? Final hot take.
Wow, this is going to be a really hot take, but...
Oh, here we go.
I mostly agree with Baha, and if you play Heroes of the Storm, you should, and you have not played in something competitive, even for whatever level that you're at, just as a 5-man, definitely try it, because I think that's kind of where HOTS shines as a game. I don't think it's a game that is nearly as enjoyable by yourself. I think it's a game where playing it in a group with friends or with people you don't even know, just communicating with people and working together is fun. I think it's like they took some of the character, it's like they took a Zed from League of Legends and they split all the things that his kit does across 3 different heroes on 1 ability each, and you need to combo all these things together. It's not the same as the other MOBAs. It's very combo based. Everything is. You're always relying on your teammates, and I think it's much better to play the game that way. Also, I played League for probably longer than I played HOTS, and I made maybe 10 friends in League of Legends playing it for 11 years or something. Yeah. And I've had to delete people from my friends list getting full in HOTS. It's crazy how different it is, and I'm not sure if that's just the community in HOTS just being generally nicer, which I think they are, but I don't think that's the main thing. I think it's just that there's so much incentive to find people to play with, and because you want good teammates on your team. So I think there's just a lot more incentive to kind of get to know each other and make friends in HOTS. So go do that.
You're so nice. Look at you.
That was my hot take.
That's your hot take. That's so cute. All right.
Oh man.
Crush, what do we got? Hey, you were on this Stitches train for a long time. And
Stitches, I think, is still going to be seen more than not.
All right.
I don't know if it's going to win. I predicted big upset wins for Stitches. It was big upset losses for Stitches. This weekend, geez. I think I'm still riding the Cure ain't playing train. As much as Twitch chat wants to whinge about it, he's not playing. Man, I want to say something about Artanis, but he's just so trash. He's not going to be played. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I want him to come on out. He's awesome. He's not going to be played. I'm sorry. I want Artanis in so bad.
Come on, man. Give me some conviction. Come on.
He's the bloodlust counter.
He's the bloodlust counter. You could blind them for 4 seconds. 4 seconds.
Where's your copium, Crush? Where's your copium?
I need it. I know. Next hero released is Artanis 2. They're just going to release Artanis again. You're going to be able to play him twice in the same comp.
All right.
I like it.
All right. I know.
But my final pitch, my final plea to go along with, the hopium that's going on in this channel right now, there's never been a better time to just be a part of the community. Your EU, your NA, your Heroes Lounge, your NGS, you want to play, you want to cast, the barrier to entry is so low. It's lower than you think. You know more about this game than you think. Just come check it out. It's there for you.
PogChamp, my hot take. Wild Heart wins it all. Sweeps 30K, easy peasy. All right. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. ! Guest in chat. Go follow Bahamut. Go follow Justin on Twitter, on Twitch. Crushinator, twitter.com. You're at the Crushinator. And then
the Crushinator everywhere.
The Crushinator. You might have to. I don't think I added you on that one. That's my bad. We'll get it for next week. Stick around, everybody. We're going to go ahead and raid Baja. He's going to go ahead and stream some heroes. Stick around for HRCS as well. Thank you guys for being here. Much appreciated. Y'all have a fantastic night, and we'll see you all when we see you. Peace out, everybody.